I've never done one of these recordings where someone hops on in the middle. I hope it works. This is Don't Panic, episode number 297, recorded December 28th, 2020. Hello, everybody. Welcome to this episode of Don't Panic, the technology podcast on gadgets, the internet, and you. I am Sean Jennings, joined by the one man who thinks 2020 was just the best year ever. It's Colby Rabideau. Hello, Colby. I know you're sad to see it go.
I did get to trial run working from home in a forced fashion.
In a big way.
Yeah, in a big way, and I don't hate it. So,
well, that's good.
Thinking about the future, I feel like it's a real option for me.
But you also, so let me ask, and I'll just say right off the top, Dan is not here. We may also have a special guest who's calling in later, so it's going to be a bit of a mixed bag. But I have to ask, Colby, when you do leave the house, what do you leave the house for? What do you... Because I know when I was working from home, I don't have a life. I literally don't go anywhere, so it's kind of driving me crazy. You strike me as someone with a bit more of a life. Where do you go?
Ooh, boy. Well, I used to have a life, but I don't anymore. Here are the things I do regularly. I have to leave the house to buy. I get my groceries delivered usually, so I don't leave the house for groceries. I have to like large volume paper products, like paper towels and toilet paper. I have to leave the house to go get those. So I usually go to CVS or Target or something, or the hardware store. I go to the hardware store a lot because they have those things. They have paper towels, and also I usually need something at the hardware store, and there's no one in there. It's not like if you go to CVS, it's a madhouse, and it's like a city CVS. So it's there are as many shelves as they can possibly fit into the too small CVS space. It's truly unpleasant. And then it's possible that's the only thing I leave the house for. I go outside to just go outside, but
You're not allowed to do that.
Right. I don't go outside with a purpose. Oh, I go buy beer sometimes. There's a fancy beer place near here that I get most of my beer from nowadays. But that's all. Everything else I get delivered. I don't see people anymore.
Aw.
Yeah. I don't know. That's my whole life. Beer and toilet paper.
Well, you need one to use the other, so...
Yeah. I get coffee delivered. I have a we talked about that on the show a while ago.
Yes.
I have a coffee subscription. It gets mailed to my house every 2 weeks.
I'm kind of excited to not get deliveries for a while, because throughout November and December, between the new house and all that, which was a ton of stuff, and then the holidays and all that, I just don't want to track anymore. I had so many packages, which, by the way, for the record, I did ultimately receive all of my lost packages. So props to the Postal Service for at least following through. Although one of them they delivered to the wrong house completely, and that nice person then brought it over here. So shout out to them. But I'm sick of just having... I don't want to get any more deliveries. I'm over it.
Yeah.
I guess food is different. You kind of need that to live.
Right. Even food, though, I've been considering, I would like to be able to pick my food up at the grocery store. I feel like that would be better all around, but I just have to get, a cart to, bring my food home in. One of those, old lady,
yeah, the city carts.
Yeah. I don't have one of those. And, they're kind of big. I don't know. But that's a thing that I would like to stop doing if I could.
Well, I will say, a lot of people have talked about how delivery has really exploded as part, the future is delivery. I mean, people have really, I got to tell you, for me, the big revolution is the order ahead curbside pickup. That is, and not just for food, although I've bragged on the show before about food ordering apps and drive-thrus and things like that, but just even at something like a Target or a Best Buy, which I know you're obviously not a car guy, but when you have the car and can just roll up and Home Home Depot curbside pickup has revolutionized my life. I had to get, I kid you not, how many individual, they were 1 square foot tile squares for a wall, and I had to get, I kid you not, like 60 of them. It weighed a fucking ton. And so rather than go in the
Yeah.
store and put them in a cart and then check out curbside, some dude just came out with like one of those big pallet carts right up to the car. I helped him load him and I left. It was like the best thing I've ever done.
That sounds nice. I tried to do so. I went to Target the other day because, as previously mentioned, I needed toilet paper, and the I tried to do that. Like I did a pickup order, but like to get the pickup order from my Target, I had to go like deep into the Target.
Yeah.
It's like, why? Why? This defeats the entire purpose. I did this like it would have been just as like easy for me. Like I would have had just as much exposure to like Target if I had just walked to the toilet paper and picked one out and like checked out myself. It was annoying.
Yeah, a lot of that stuff is really kind of crappily quickly put together, I've noticed, where it's kind of like jerry rigged pickup. And there's
Yeah.
always like that one employee who's very nice, but also doesn't quite know what they're doing, who will just come
Right.
out, just sort of like hand you something, be like, I think this is yours.
Yes.
It's very
Yeah.
loose.
Yeah. It was super unclear like where to go and what to do, and it was also not at all. I was expecting there to be like a person at the door, like next to the door, that you said like, hey, I'm here to pick up my
Right.
crap, and like they just bring you your stuff, but that was not the case at all. It was disappointing.
Now, obviously, 2020 just about over. This may
It
be, I
is
don't think this is the latest in December we've ever done one of these, but it's definitely up there.
pretty close.
We're wrapping it up, and so I have to ask Colby. 2020, obviously an interesting year. I think is an understatement. Is there anything else that you think you're going to take away from 2020? A change in your life, or something you learned, or I don't know. What's going to be the lasting impression of 2020? We don't have to focus on the negatives necessarily, but
Yeah.
how's 2020 changed you?
Well, I mean, I think our giant like work from home experiment has changed me in a dramatic way, in that like I now know I can work from home and not lose my like it's fine. I'm fine. The work part of that is fine. That's like, like the last time I switched jobs, I like talked to some like remote companies, and I like considered for a hot minute like
Hmm.
maybe I'll like work from home and like I don't know, like work at a place that's not here in Boston. But I like ultimately decided like it was too scary. Like it was too high stakes to do. Um, Even though it seemed like it could be a good thing. But I
So
don't know.
now would you consider something like that?
Yeah, totally. I think like even like without that, like without a, you know, ending up in a job where I'm working remotely, I like 100% don't want to go to an office every day. I'm over commuting.
Yeah.
Over it. Once in a
Well,
while, like a couple days, maybe 2 days a week, I think that would be nice. But like that's it. I don't want
Well,
to
and I
go every
think
day.
office, and you'd probably agree, I think offices have gotten somehow managed to get more miserable. Like I think, and you do it, you have it more than I do. I'm still in the old style cubes, but once we all got into these sort of like open space, shared workspace, I think it made work harder, frankly.
Yeah, totally. And that's the like there's very little time to like focus and do your work in a quiet like a quiet like focused environment. Um and there were like, the things I miss are like lunch and like, you know, it's sort of like extracurricular stuff. It is not like work.
Right.
I'm way better at doing my actual work by myself at my house than I am like in the office with people. Um, but I mean that's just maybe specific to me and my the sort of work that I'm doing.
Yeah, I mean, I think that that's going to be a very long term piece of information is whose job can be done remotely because we've all had to try it. And I think, like, my job can be done remotely. I think it suffers when it's done remotely because it is a meeting heavy, person to person heavy,
Yeah.
um, sort of quick interactions heavy. Um, and I think while it can be done remotely, I do think something is lost, but that's not true of a lot of jobs. So I think the question is, how does it change moving forward? Are the people like yourselves who it clearly works, um, is it going to stay that way? I
Yeah.
don't, I don't know. It's interesting. I mean, as someone who was quarantined less than some people, I mean, who's been in the office for the past, gosh, going on 5 months now, um, it's definitely been a struggle. I think
Yeah.
I mean, it was a struggle to work from home, but I think I would argue maybe a little bit even more of a struggle working from an office simply because of all the limitations and not necessarily the fear, but maybe just the anxiety around it. Um, can be really stressful. For
Yeah.
sure.
It's uncomfortable. Like just being around people. Well, like all of our like sort of like politeness and social norms things got kind of like changed all of a sudden. So it's weird. And on top of it, it's not just like being a weirdo that you're worried about. It's like, being a weirdo in a way that makes people feel unsafe, which is super stressful. Like that's why it was stressful when I had to go into the Target to pick up my order. It's like it's not like nothing about a Target is stressful except that like I was trying to do this pickup thing because I didn't want to like walk through the store and like be around people, but I had to. Um, what's a mm, what's a thing? I was gonna say like what is something that you in the time like you worked remote a bunch of time like
Months,
a
yeah,
fair
several
amount of
months.
time, yeah.
Yeah.
So like what's something that you learned to do in the time that you were working remotely to like make remote working better that wasn't immediately obvious to you when you started?
That's a really good question. I think for me, it really came down to um, organization and just getting everything in a meeting or in writing. I think was so important. Like even my company was not even like an IM chat company. I
Yeah.
mean, we were emails or just walking up to someone's desk type of people. There's only 20 people in our office, and so with my own team personally, we had a call every single day in the morning at 8:30 where we would just say what's on the schedule for today, what are we all working on. Like I just did that frankly just to make sure they were working for the first couple weeks. I wasn't even planning on doing it for all the months. It was just a matter of like, is everyone like not in bed anymore? But we ended up keeping it for the entire work from home period because it was just a nice time to stop and assess, and that's something I've sort of tried to carry on informally now that we're back in the office. But it's really just been I think it has helped. I think it's really helped people learn like how do you run a good meeting. Like it's different when you're all in a conference room and it's like you kind of have to be there and everyone leaves and goes that sucks. But it like remotely you can't do it over. You can't grab them on the way out of the conference room to fix it. Like you've got to have good meetings.
Totally.
And so I do think in ways it did help everybody in getting back to the office when we did.
Yeah. Yeah, I think the like meetings without a plan or like very quickly got out of hand when we switched fully onto video chat.
Mm-hmm.
I would not. I don't know. Like I can't like I don't remember the thing happening before like in the office, but like I feel like all of it as soon as we switched to video chat, the things started happening where it's like you have like six people in a meeting and like something comes up and so like you go around the room and everyone like puts in their 2 cents about the thing and by the time you've gotten around like it's like a giant game, a game of telephone has happened where like the thing has changed slightly, so like you have to go around the room again and again and again and like you can just go on forever. And like there's no, it's not like you get kicked out of a, in an office. If you're in a meeting room, like usually there's a meeting after you, so like you have to leave when the time is up. But on Google Hangouts you could just stay forever, just talk around the circle forever.
And sometimes they do. I
Right,
feel like
right.
meetings did not end on time very much virtually.
Yeah, right. Like I was definitely in a meeting or two that went like an hour or more longer than it was like scheduled for, which was crazy. And you get to the end and everyone would just be like,
Yeah.
what just happened? Like I don't think we accomplished anything, and that was stressful.
I see in our communication window here is Dan there?
Hello?
Earth to Dan.
You hear me?
Yes, we can. Hello, Dan.
Hi.
Welcome.
Thanks. Yeah, I'm videoless, but I'm here.
We're beyond thrilled to have you. Colby and I have been holding down the fort here, talking about what happened in 2020.
Oh, is this the episode?
This is we're wrapping up the year.
Oh, I have some follow through. That from several weeks ago. I got the AirPods Max. That's something.
Yes, I can. That's what I love about this this new platform is it says Dan's AirPods Max is your microphone, which I love. They sound great. How have you been enjoying them?
I like them a lot. They sound really good. Like I said when I before them, I think if I if I wasn't doing this like nomadic thing where every month I moved to a new place, I wouldn't have gotten them. But like having like working at the kitchen table and then moving to the couch and then moving to the bedroom to do a video call and then back again and just always having the same headphones on, whether you're listening to music or doing a meeting, is pretty nice. Great. They don't hurt my ears. Some people said they were uncomfortable. They are heavy, but it doesn't it doesn't affect me. Like when I put them on my head, I don't realize that they're heavy. And the transparency mode is really cool. Some people are like, "Oh, transparency mode is better on." You know what? I think I agree. Transparency mode on the AirPods Pro it sounds better, but it's not as impressive. When you do it with this, like you're talking to someone and you can hardly hear them, and then you boop the little button and you can hear everything they're saying. It's amazing.
That's cool.
Yeah, I guess that's the other thing I didn't appreciate is if I was ever doing household chores or cooking, I would never wear nice headphones because talk to me, I'd be like, oh, I have to take them off, and my hands are covered in grease. Whereas being able to just do the little thing from your phone or just tap the button on the side and have people hear you is great.
I'm glad to hear that. Glad you're getting your money's worth out of it. We also have another guest joining us. Hello, Earth to Matt. Is Matt there?
Hello, what's going on? What's going on, tech crew?
Oh, it's friend of the show, co-host of the Don't Panic of the Up for Debate podcast, and all around swell guy Matt Mariani. Hello, Matt.
Hey, everybody. What's going on? Just wanted to come by and visit our sister show on the fine coffee and beer network of podcasts. How's everybody doing today? What's going on, Colby, Dan, and Sean?
Just living the dream as one does.
My week has been, we were in Vermont for a month, and now I guess the other non-tech news exciting thing that happened is I had my first COVID test ever. It was negative, but we got the rapid COVID test, and then after quarantining for a week, we got it, and then now we're at my mom's house for a couple of days, then it's back to Vermont. So it's just a lot of logistics and rental cars and stuff. But we got to have a delayed Christmas, which was cool. I guess Sean definitely had a COVID test. Matt or Colby, have you three?
I've had three. Yeah.
Sean's had a COVID test for all of us.
Yes.
I have had a COVID test. Yes, I did one back in October.
Okay.
I haven't.
Did you have the rapid one?
So what is the difference between, like, I had the one where you drive up to the window and you do it yourself. Is that the rapid test?
I don't know if the method matters. I think the result is that like a rapid test, you like what happened to me, and I wasn't expecting this, was we finally, I don't know why they didn't do drive through, but we had to go into this room, and we're in the room, and then he switches it around in his nose. He's like, okay, BRB. And then he leaves the room, and then he came back about 10 minutes later and gave the results. There was no like go online or like wait for your thing.
Oh yeah, that's definitely the rapid test. Yeah, if it takes like 24 hours, then it's a regular test.
Okay. Yeah, I did a regular test, and it took probably about 3 days to get the results, 3 business days.
Yeah,
I would say.
am I the only one who can't really hear Matt?
I can't
Nope.
hear
Oh, my microphone is not.
It's not plugged in, everybody. His mic's not plugged in. Big problem.
It happens, man.
Now, what does it show that Matt's microphone's name is?
Well, it just says USB plug and play audio device. And we can't hear you at all. Well, now you're muted. You got to unmute. Can I do that? Oh, unmute. Nope. We do this every week on Up for Debate.
It's a tradition.
All right. Well, while he's working on that, Dan, do you have any did you have any 2020 thoughts? Anything you learned about yourself, about the world, anything you think that's going to stick with you about this year? Doesn't have to be bad, but
Well, when I joined, you and Colby were talking about.
yeah, definitely a big one. But
That's
you were remote working before it was cool.
no, I wasn't.
No?
No, I mean I had done remote work for a week or two at a time, but when I left to go on my ill-fated ski trip at the end of February, the expectation was that you would be in the office, and when I returned, the expectation was that you would not be in the office, and that was the first time that had ever been true for me.
Wow.
Now I'm my new job is like is fully remote, and always will be. But yeah, I think that if I hadn't heard you talking about that, that's what. And I think it's most interesting to think about, like there's lots of pontificating and navel gazing going on in tech about how this will affect tech people. But I think it's most interesting to think about how it will affect non-tech people, which is probably what you two were talking about.
Yeah, regular schlubs like myself.
Yeah.
No, I mean, I think that was one of the points we were talking about was figuring out, and I'm sure Matt has an interesting perspective on this as someone who educates America's youth, but
Yeah.
figuring out whose jobs can and cannot be done remotely, because, there are some jobs that I'm sure they've tried to do remote that in the long term, it just doesn't make sense. But there's some, I mean, Matt, I wonder what your thoughts are. Could there be a world where students are only in the school 3 days a week instead of 5, or the school year goes into the summer, but some of it's remote? I mean, do you think that could be a long-term change potentially?
It's interesting because I go back.
You're still very far away. Can you hold that mic right up to those lips of yours?
All right, is this better?
Not really.
So, all right, the mic is. I guess the mic is having. This is the first time I'm using my brand new laptop, which coincidentally. I wanted to talk a little bit about on this tech podcast.
Oh yeah.
Well, I'll tell you all the specs and all the great deal that I got.
I can preamble while Matt jiggers around, and maybe you already also talked about this, but what is true in tech and everywhere else is you can't just take the way that you were doing work, or I suspect teaching, and like lift it over and move it into the digital realm and not change anything. Way that we have meetings or the way that we teach has to change, but there are all sorts of things you can do in person that you can't do remotely, but there are also all sorts of things you can do remotely that you can't do in person. And nothing, like, we are all using like the lowest common denominator of technology for all remote work. It's like chat rooms, email, video calls. That's it. Like that is the lingua franca. And I think when you start to see remote work be better than in-person work, and I think there's probably parallels to this in teaching too, is when you do things that you could only do remotely. Like if you're all in a meeting, a simple example, you're all in a meeting and you have the shared Google Doc and you're all editing it at the same time. And there's ways that you can get into this flow where like there's not a note taker, everyone's taking notes and you're all like collaborating on this document, which doesn't be email to everyone. Like everyone's like thing at this time. And now you can put that somewhere where you can search it. And like, how many times have you had that? Like, ah, shit, like, what was that thing, that meeting? And like, or to that matter, why aren't all meetings recorded and transcribed and right? Like, you go back to any meeting, replay it, like watch it back on 2x speed, be able to search like meetings I was last month, like boom, bring them all up. We don't have any of that stuff. And I'm shocked that we haven't had it. And now that Slack's been acquired by Salesforce, I think we need to look for someone else to do that maybe. But I can imagine that there are. This is what I was going to say. Before in the before times, I had a piano teacher who would teach. I think he would teach in person, but he had all these digital tools. So one of them was you were all wearing headsets, your piano, all in parallel. And now I can hear myself, which might be Matt messing around with stuff. But you could only hear yourself. A teacher could talk to everyone. And that's something that you can't really do if you're all in person in a room. It's very difficult to not difficult, but let's pull someone aside and have well, if you want to do that in a classroom, it's like, let's go out in the hallway. And then everyone's like, right. Ooh, you're in trouble. Like that's actually something that's harder to do in person. But he had to design all of that stuff himself and cable it all up and all of that. That's my diatribe work. We're not doing it. I don't know what the answer is, but I can think of so many things that you could only do when working remotely that none of us do ever, which suggests to me that we're not remotely working to capacity. Matt, you sound amazing.
You guys hear me? Ooh, okay. So now what's weird is I unplugged this microphone completely, and I'm just using my computer microphone now.
Yeah, the new PCs just have awesome mics built into them. I'll give them credit; they do a really nice job.
All right. Okay. Well, now that I'm coming in loud and clear, how are you, folks?
We're doing great, Matt.
I feel like I should still hold the microphone though.
For a prop, everybody. You can.
How's everybody doing tonight?
It's like Matt's doing stand up.
Try the veal. Yes, try the veal. It's gonna come from your own kitchen because nobody's allowed to eat out anymore. So
I love Matt the COVID comic.
The COVID comic. Someday there'll be a market for that.
Yeah,
perhaps
you'll be the first. So Matt, tell us about this new laptop of yours.
Oh, okay. So what we got going on is I was trying to pull up the specs officially so I can tell you about them because what I did was I ripped off the little tag that is on the front part, so it has all the info on it. But I can tell you just from remembering what I bought, I purchased this computer on Black Friday. It was a Black Friday deal from the website. It is a Dell Inspiron.
You're getting it down.
It has an Intel Core i7 processor. We lost Dan due to internet quality issues, it looks like.
I'm still here.
That's what I got here. Oh, okay. Well, I don't know why that notification came up. By the way, now that I've got you both here, what do you think about Sean's brand new podcasting service he's got here? It's all right. You can tell me. Blink twice if you blink twice if you want to go back to to Skype?
I think it's fine. It works
Okay.
fine.
All right.
I like
I,
it.
I I like it too. I actually do. I don't have any qualms with it. I want to have qualms with it so I can bitch about it, but I don't have
It
any
was
problem
pretty
with it.
crappy on your old computer, I
think
will
change.
say.
Yeah.
Your old
I don't have
computer
any
was
issues
struggling.
with it.
No.
It chugged, yeah, it did. It chugged a bit, but that computer sucked. So this one is awesome. It took a long time to deliver, I will say that. So I ordered it back on Black Friday, and it just got here on Christmas Eve. So it was a lengthy delivery, but it's all worth it in the end. This is a fine piece of hardware. Is what I like about it. I can tell you more details about it if I go into the
Now,
settings.
what
right?
do you? What? My stupid cat. What is? Are you running Windows Vista on that? Windows 8.1? What are you?
No. I would love if it was Windows 98. I was a big fan of 98. That was the system, I think, or maybe 2000. Pretty fondly as an OS. That was a good OS. Actually, no, it wasn't. It wasn't. With 98. My question is, do they make, like, can you buy a skin that would look like the Windows 98 aesthetically, but run like a modern OS?
Absolutely.
Yeah, I feel
Does that
Absolutely.
exist?
it must be a thing.
So I might do a little searching later on and try to do that. That was kind of cool. But yeah, I'm enjoying it. It has great resolution. That's what I bought it for. I wanted to have nice resolution so I can watch
I
Sean
was
and I
gonna say, what else are
podcast
you
on
doing
here.
on there?
Full
Well,
shot
do you have to
Gen
teach with it?
experience.
They gave us MacBooks, so where I use those. I use my MacBook pretty heavily to do work stuff. But I could teach from this computer, I suppose. We use Zoom as our preferred platform. I know other schools are using Google Meets. My former school is using Google Meets right now, the one that I taught at in Virginia. It really, I guess it just depends on like preference, district preference, and stuff like that. I don't know if there are
So
special
what's
permissions
your
that are required.
remote teaching
beyond-
hot take?
I love it. That's my hot take.
Yeah.
I bet that was probably
I was gonna say
unexpected, but
that is
I really like it a lot. It's pretty unique because you hear a lot of people complaining about it on social media, and probably for really good reason. Just for perspective and for reference, I teach 8th grade right now. I don't teach like the little kids. Most of my friends that I know, that including my wife who teaches 3rd grade, they don't usually have a good time with the digital stuff because kids and technology usually like oil and water.
Not anything.
No, but it's more, I think, because they're very young. It's weird, there's something that I don't know if everybody fully appreciates, but I didn't quite get it until I saw it actually happen. Kids today can't type. They have very poor typing skills. I don't know if everybody knows that, because you would think that, they grow up with computers and they're typing all the time, but this generation is more inclined to the touch screens. Like their phones are touch screens, the tablets are touch screens. So they don't, and they also pretty much stopped typing keyboard education in school.
They fired
So-
Beacon?
I was
The
gonna
combination of those things. Yeah, they fired Native Beacon. They got rid of my preferred method of learning to type was I used type to
I
learn
was
at
just
school,
about to
but I
bring
also
that up.
had Mario teaches typing at home. Yeah, Mario teaches typing. Yeah, that was my favorite to use. But the kids they don't learn how to type, which is very bizarre because they go in there and they hunt and peck. They hunt and peck just like your grandparents did.
Another
or your
example,
parents
by
using
the
a
way,
computer,
of
but-
like us being held back by the way we used to do things. Why is it not possible? I believe it is impossible to type as fast on an iPad as you do on a keyboard. But there's no reason why it has to be that slow. Just no one has like come up with a way to, and actually I'm sure there are many ways to do it faster, but just no one does it, right? Like you can't give an iPad to a kid and be like, oh, and it comes with like the swipey keyboard so you can type super fast. If you did, I'm sure kids would like us with the stupid T9s, like you will push that thing as fast as you can, but as it stands with the iPad keyboard, you can only go so fast. And that needs to change.
Well, I just wonder about dictation. I mean, that's what I thought you were going to say, Matt, when you were saying they weren't typing. I said, oh, I just assumed if I had an iPad back when I was writing essays, I just hit the microphone and dictate the whole thing.
Oh my God, you'd never have to spell again.
No.
I think I talked about this on the show, but I did that when I hurt my finger and I couldn't type, and I did the handwriting recognition thing, which is also really good if you're trying to say something weird or like do.
I would think with dictation, if you're going for an essay and you're in, say, middle school, high school range, you would still probably have to write like a loose script. Because I don't know how good can you freeform dictate an essay?
I don't know.
Like and have it come out nice. I guess you can edit
people it. Who like have lost the ability to use their hands. The dictation software is pretty interactive, so you can like jump around and like delete words and like delete up to the period, move cursor back 5 words, and then like start saying stuff, and it'll obey your commands. I don't know if that's what you were in.
Well, it's, and Matt, this, I mean, it's all different types of learners, right? When I write something, I write it very conversationally. That's the style in which I write. And so I used to try way back when I was in middle school, like Windows 98 or Windows XP dictation, which was terrible. It was awful. It never worked. But I was like, God, if this technology existed, I would use it all the time. And I do use it a lot for like text messages on iOS and stuff. And so I wonder, do I think every kid would use it? No, but like you said, Matt, as they become potentially more uncomfortable with typing, I just wonder once the dictation technology, they're going to be used to talking to digital assistants in their homes or in their cars. It's an interesting thought. I wonder if that ever would become a major way people interact.
So, Matt.
Yeah, I can
Matt,
definitely see it. Yeah.
I'm not sure if I followed correctly, but like, do the kids you're teaching, like, they aren't great typers right now, right? That's what you were saying.
I think that actually the kids I'm currently working with are a little better. It was more at my former school in Virginia. Just not as I noticed that they weren't many of them when we would, and also we use technology a lot more infrequently there. Well, number one was a resources reason. Actually, even larger than resources, it was population. Just there was so many kids and so few materials to go around because of the school size. But I think that the average student, whenever we did use technology, they would just kind of go for the hunting and pecking is what I noticed. Not all of them, but many of them. More so than I thought. And I kind of just assumed it was, I asked around and I was like, do you take like a keyboarding class? Have you ever done type to learn? And no, they've never heard of Mavis Beacon. Never even heard of him.
Well, she's not a real person,
right? I don't know what her. What is Mavis?
I think it's been pictured in like marketing as a woman, but there is no. It's a made up person. Okay. There is no Mavis Beacon.
Mavis.
Matt's like checking. Is she single?
Let's see. I never used Mavis Beacon. That was not my style. Oh, okay. Yeah, I see Mavis Beacon. I would say Ms. Beacon.
Ms. Beacon.
But of course, one can never assume.
Now,
Let's see. What does she have a background? What's the lore of Mavis Beacon? She's got Mavis Beacon is often thought to be a living or historical figure by the public. The confusion has led many to contact the software developers seeking to speak to, interview, or book Mavis Beacon for an event. Furthermore, as a result of Mavis Beacon's continuous use in computer typing software and her image on software boxes, many consumers have reported confabulations, i.e., false memories, of Mavis Beacon winning typing contests or appearing
Do you
on
think we can
talk
book Mavis
shows.
Beacon for our show?
I think we should book Mavis Beacon and Boltman and have them fight.
Bolt up, my friends.
I think I saw
High
Mavis
voltage.
Beacon on Cameo.
Happy
Yes.
Chinooka from Mavis Beacon teaches typing.
I've never heard of that. I'm very interested in this word confabulation.
No,
Have you
but is
ever
that
heard
like
of
the
this term
Mandela
before?
effect?
Sort of. That was what I first thought of when I have. Side note: have we ever done an episode of Up for
No, we
Debate on
should
the
though. There was a
Mandela
great.
effect?
Did any of you guys watch How to with John Wilson on HBO? Just came out this year. Fantastic. Honestly, I
No.
cannot recommend it enough. It's like 6.5 hours. It's quick. But one of the episodes, he talks to these people. I'm not really spoiling anything, but who they believe the Mandela effect is actually like proof of parallel universes that actually exist. And it's crazy, but like all their arguments is like, you ever look at Febreze? I bet you think there's two E's, F-R-B-E-E-Z, and there goes, but there's only one E. Do you know why? Because in a parallel universe, there is two E's. Like, it's like the dumbest stuff. Because it's really just like, oh no, you just have a bad memory. But to these people, it's like, no, it's proof that.
Yeah. Well, it's all just because there's like these are very
You
minute
fill in
details that your
blanks.
brain doesn't pay attention to. So they like, for example, what is the other one that I mean, there's tons of them, but like the Monopoly Man. A lot of people think he wears a monocle, but he's never been depicted wearing a monocle. I think it's just a combination of pop culture and your brain not paying attention to details. The other famous one is the Bernstein Bears. The Bernstein Bears, however they're spelled.
Yeah.
Oh, they're the Berenstain Bears. They're spelled like Stain, but most people think they're the Berenstain Bears. All detail that doesn't matter. Your brain doesn't really focus on it too much. Beacon, even though she is not real, she has also been considered the Betty Crocker of cyberspace. How do you guys feel about that on this show? Is she the
Sure.
Betty Crocker of cyberspace?
I guess. Was it? Is
What
Betty
are the
Crocker
other
real?
ways of cider?
Yeah, you know what? Now is Betty Crocker.
Well, there
real?
used to be a list where it's like Uncle Ben isn't real, Aunt Jemima isn't real, but like Little Debbie is real.
Old Debbie.
Old Debbie.
Old Debbie.
A bunch of the food mascots would go. Captain Crunch is not real.
Yeah, Betty. What do you guys think? Do you think Betty
Don't
Crocker is
think
real?
She is.
I'm gonna say no.
I don't think so.
Colby, we're all no's here. Survey says Betty Crocker is not real. You are all correct. You got it. She was created in 1921 by Washburn Crosby, an
But
advertiser,
Duncan
Bruce
Hines,
Barton.
the brand, is named after a guy named Duncan Hines.
Heinz Ketchup Museum.
I like that. I Duncan Hines is just a
really?
great name.
Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania.
Different. That's right.
Oh, then the ketchup Heinz?
Spelled differently.
No, totally different.
Heinz.
Hi-
The
I thought it
Heinz
was
ketchup is
Heinz.
more Germanic
Heinz.
spelled, right, with the Z. Heinz.
Fun fact.
Heinz.
H
And
I
then
N E
Duncan
S.
Hines is like a Heinz, like a fancy British Heinz.
The Heinz estate.
You have been invited to the Heinz family
No,
reunion.
Duncan Hines is also
Yeah.
the
Heinz
illustrious founder
estate.
of Dunkin' Donuts as well, right? Yeah, I think so.
Well,
Oh,
let me
really?
Google it.
Is that true, Sean?
Yep, it says it's true. Colby nailed it.
Yeah, it's spelled DUNK.
I love Google.
Yep. Now, guys, yes, go ahead, Matt.
Oh, Sean,
I
have you ever heard of the
Staple
Staple Singers? No, I guess
Where
not.
do I know
It's
them
not.
from? What's their big song?
Oh, okay. I don't know, but that is where Mavis Beacon got her name from. Her first name was taken from Mavis Staples, who was the lead vocalist of the Staple Singers, and the surname comes from Beacon, as in a light to guide the way.
You'd
As
know
she
the
guides
Staple
you through
Singers
your
from
typing
a couple hit
experience.
songs, but including "I'll Take You There." I'll take you there. You know that one from the '70s. "Respect Yourself,"
Of course.
among others.
Okay.
Guys, this has been a treat. We've talked about so much technology tonight, but Matt and I, and I already warned Colby this was going to happen. Sorry, Dan. Matt and I are going to hijack the show for a minute, if that's okay.
Sorry, guys.
That's right.
We're gonna make some changes around here.
What would you like the new name of the show to be?
Starting with the name. Don't panic. It's gonna be now called.
But it's got to be
Panic
like Panic at the
all
Disco.
the
Where it's like
time.
Panic exclamation point all the time. Love that. That's a good name. Yep.
Matt and Sean panic all
Yes,
the time.
yes. With
Featuring.
appearances by Colby and Dan. But what happened, guys, is if you haven't been listening over at Up for Debate, Matt and I spent 4 hours talking through the entire NBA to pick Matt a new basketball team. And somehow, even though we had 4 hours of recording, we still didn't end up picking him a team. We narrowed it to 6, ran out of time, and rather than go to a third episode, so I said, Matt, you're coming on Don't Panic on Monday. Why don't we just pick it on that show with the help of Colby and Dan?
Yeah, so the story is that I know nothing about basketball, and I up until Christmas, this previous Christmas day, I had not watched a single NBA game in my entire life. And I know that you two are very into basketball. Matter of fact, I assume that you devote a lot of time on Don't Panic talking about basketball and updating scores and stuff like that. So I figured, what's the sport you watch the most?
Because our only sports team that is good, UConn basketball men and women's. And then I had to go to all the games because I was in band, plus the NCAA tournament.
Yes, exactly. Well, that's and it's that kind of experience we're going to desperately need as we try and pick Matt a new team for him to root for. And the rule is, like with this, we picked the Chargers. That's why I have my Chargers cap. He has to root for this team, period. He can't get out of it. This is his new team forever.
Yeah, this is
narrowed
it.
it down to like a short list.
Yes, we have 6 teams, 1 from each division. So here's the list. Pay attention. Starting with the East, and then we'll go to the West. And Matt, correct. I think I remember them, so correct me if I get them wrong. The Philadelphia 76ers, the Chicago Bulls, the Orlando Magic, the Utah Jazz, the Los Angeles Clippers, and the New Orleans Pelicans.
I'm not 100% on the Jazz. Was the Jazz part of the list? I thought we picked a different team.
No, because it was, well, they would have been up against the Blazers, the Thunder, the Timberwolves, or the Nuggets.
Oh, no. Okay. So I guess it was. I guess the Jazz were there. Okay.
Yeah. So again, that's the 76ers, the Bulls, the Magic, the Jazz, the Clippers, and the Pelicans. Any teams jumping out at you, Dan or Colby?
Well, real quick before that, is there any? I haven't listened to these episodes. Unfortunately, this team could be anywhere, presumably, but is there like, would Matt prefer a team that were closer to his geographic location?
Well,
No.
it's a good question. I'll be super clear. Matt has absolutely no say in it. It's not about what he wants.
Yes, Sean is now he's taking the choice out of my hands. It is like matchmaking, yes.
Yes, it's what team best fits Matt.
We worked to narrow it down, and I picked these teams based on many factors that most of them didn't have anything to do with basketball. It had to do on mostly on the team name or the coach of the team, like just random stuff.
All kinds of...
the song. I think I picked the 76ers because they had that little song, the little jingle they play when they win. I thought that was neat. So it's all just a bunch of random stuff, and we want you to pick it. I'm gonna leave the choice entirely up to you guys because I think that's just the best way to go about this. It's like matchmaking, exactly.
Now, I have an important question. What is a 76er?
Well, I'm glad you asked. I won't go through the whole thing again. People can listen to the Up for Debate episode. We literally talk about the history of every NBA team. But the 76ers are named, they're based in Philadelphia, obviously named after 1776, a famous time in Philadelphia history. They were known as the Syracuse Nationals, actually, before they moved to Philadelphia and became the 76ers in 1963.
Yeah, you guys, and if you ever get the chance, you should listen to this episode. It was like the World Series of Googling for Sean and I. We just
it was literally just reading Wikipedia.
It was like Wimbledon, but with Google, with Wikipedia, just back and forth constantly.
Amazing.
Lots of looking stuff up and reading lots of Wikipedia articles.
Well, 1976, a banner year. Speaking of Olympic level Googling, Apple Computer and Microsoft were incorporated.
Ooh,
there you go. A revolutionary time in American history.
Yeah. So I'm gonna give my high level tweet take on each of these just as a jumping off point, Colby. The 76ers is the only team that was named that I had never heard of. The thing that excites me about the Chicago Bulls is that they used to be good. I haven't heard.
They're not.
Interesting. And
yeah, we looked really them up. The Bulls were good, as we all know, in the 90s, but as Sean informed me, they are now just completely not only are they bad, but they're also an extremely broken franchise, from the top down.
Yeah, I mean, Matt
told me the owners don't make good decisions, and there's lots of infighting.
No, I would say of the 6 teams you picked, Matt, I would say 4 are mediocre to good, playoff level good. And the other 2 are and the 76ers are should be really good but are incredibly incompetent, and the Chicago Bulls should be bad and are incredibly incompetent. But the Magic are fine. The Jazz are decent. The Clippers should be really good. And the Pelicans are fine.
Where are the Pelicans from?
New Orleans, although famously it was the Charlotte Hornets, who then moved to New Orleans, became the New Orleans Hornets. Charlotte got the Charlotte Bobcats. Then the New Orleans Hornets gave the Hornets name back to Charlotte so they could become the Charlotte Hornets again, and then became the New Orleans Pelicans.
I mean, I feel, Matt, do you want to round out your collection? Do you want to collect them all, catch them all from New Orleans? You already do this.
This is true. I have the Saints. I got the Saints banner right behind me.
The way I was listening to Up for Debates, I heard you're an Eagles fan now.
Whoa, I have it's complicated. I think if I were to list my football allegiances, it would just say it's complicated. But obviously now by de facto, I'm a Saints. They're going to be the only team in the playoff hunt. So
I was going to say, what's more embarrassing, being a Eagles fan or a Giants fan?
Oh, definitely Eagles is probably, I would say, this year. Although they're both in the NFC least, so I don't know. This year it's going to be embarrassing to root for any team in that division. But
I think Have you guys ever seen a pelican in real life?
No.
One time I was in Florida driving in a car on one of like a weird Florida bridge, like over the, I guess it was the ocean. I don't know. But like we were driving in the car and there was a pelican flying next to the car. It was like being in Jurassic Park. Like it was like having a pterodactyl flying next to you. It was a huge bird. A huge bird.
That is the one of the iconic scenes in Jurassic Park is that pterodactyl flying
Right.
over the water at the end.
Well, that was one of the things we talked about, Matt, was New Orleans' rockin' logo. They got a great logo. They got the angry pelican with the ball in its mouth, I assume, or its body with the ball. I'm not sure which.
Jesus, that is an
Very
unreal logo.
It's good, but it's also one of the most, because they only changed to the Pelicans, like, I think it was after 2000. Like, it was pretty recent. So it's one of the
looks
newest
like a
logos.
biker tattoo.
Yeah. Could you see Matt wearing that?
I could. Like t-shirt? Yeah. Like a navy blue t-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah, they've got a pretty sick logo. I will give them that.
I think the Orlando Magic and the Utah Jazz they're just there for the goofy names, if I had to guess.
Yeah, you'd be right.
I see LA Clippers and something about the name that jumps out at me. That seems to be, I don't know anything about, except I knew it existed. And the Pelicans. So now that you told that story, Sean, the Charlotte Hornets were my favorite NBA team growing up. I don't think I ever watched a game, but I like their logo a lot. So I'm partial to the Pelicans. I think my three choices are the Bulls and maybe the Utah Jazz, just because I love jazz so much.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think I would say if I were choosing, it's the Pelicans, the 76ers, because that's stupid, and the maybe the Bulls too. I like the Bulls. I don't know
think
very
rooting
much about basketball.
Interesting. Like that would be an interesting experience.
Well, and that was one of the sort of metrics we had as we were going through these, was like, what's a team you would be embarrassed to wear their like, what team could you go into a bar wearing their shirt and not get and it was like, you know, like even like the Celtics or the Lakers, like they have their pros but also their detractors, right, and their fans, but like no one's going to get mad if you wore a Bulls jersey. Like I just feel like they're such like a universally like accepted team. Like nobody, especially today, nobody really hates the Bulls. They just don't think about them. The Clippers, I think, would be a lot more controversial. People definitely have strong opinions.
Oh.
Yeah, this was a very, very high factored decision for Sean when he chose the Chargers to be his NFL team. He was like considering, well, which team won't get me made fun of?
And people still made fun of me, so it didn't work.
Wait a second. The late after. Yeah, we got.
Is everybody there? I think Boltman. I'm pretty sure Boltman heard me making fun of the Chargers. And
Yeah, I got to get a better processor
intervened.
on this computer.
We got bolted again.
He zapped the computer. No, the Lakers were originally in Minnesota. That's where they started as the Lakers and then moved to Los Angeles, but kept the name.
God,
Same with the
makes
Jazz.
so
The
much
Jazz
sense.
started in New Orleans and then moved to Utah. That's why they're the Jazz.
Yeah. I didn't know that fact either. That was pretty revelatory.
That does make a lot of sense.
I kind of, part of me kind of wishes they were still the New Orleans Jazz, but I don't know. Pelicans it's cool too.
Hey, they could get a hockey
Is that in the
expansion
talks?
franchise.
Seattle
Keep
just
your
got a
fingers
hockey
crossed.
team.
The New Orleans Jazz
Seattle
hockey team.
Kraken.
No.
The Kraken.
It's not. No,
That's
it's not.
that's their team name. It's not the Krakens.
Yeah, it's gonna be
just
fun.
the Kraken. Seattle Kraken.
Yeah, all
What's
the
Kraken?
the players are one of the like a Kraken arm.
Yeah.
Like it.
I gotta show you guys.
Their logo is actually pretty cool. Yeah, the Seattle Kraken.
They have. That's what I'm pulling up here to put on the screen. It's
That's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
That's a shirt I may just have to get.
Oh, nice.
It's
All right,
yeah.
Matt,
It sounds
so
like
what do you think
I would
now
be
that we've
down
sort of
to
begun
agree to
narrowing
the
these down?
76ers too, Colby. Was that the other one you said you were interested in?
Yeah, that was the other one.
So the Pelicans, the Bulls, and the 76ers. The 76ers, because I've never heard of them. So
See,
I would.
I said
don't know
before I
anything
was
about
intrigued. I'm intrigued by
But Philadelphia
I'm intrigued
is
by
the worst.
teams that have
It is the
the same
worst.
name as a year. Like I wouldn't say I'm a 49ers fan because I don't think I'm allowed to have another NFL team, but they're
like the idea
intriguing
of-
because they haven't like. I'm just collecting NFL franchises like Pokemon. But it's just interesting. Yeah, they're like the Sixers. It's just that their name is a year. Their name is a number. It's intriguing. And that theme song is pretty catchy. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, what does it go? Clap
Can you sing some of the theme song
hands,
for Colby and Dan? They don't know.
Philadelphia. Everybody. Philadelphia. Number 1, Philadelphia. 76ers. Team of the year. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, Sixers. 10, 9, 8, 76ers. And it just keeps going like that over and over again.
Yeah, I'm listening to it now.
Very,
It's
very
like,
70s.
Cool in the Gang.
Just imagine, yeah, imagine. I was gonna say, imagine that, but with Cool in the Gang in the background,
Yes.
like a little bit of a, yeah, like a street 70s like street kind of beat.
Little
to
baits
it.
in there and
But yeah, as far as I know, I don't think any other NBA franchise has a little jingle like that they play after wins.
Famously.
well, I
true.
did famously share the Orlando Magic theme song. A
And
personal
how does
favorite
that
of
one go
mine.
again?
Famously, I mean, it blew up the Slack. Let's be honest. Orlando, Orlando, and then the guy talks about Razzmatazz and other, Alakazam. I don't remember the exact lyrics, but it's just the worst.
So the way I think it right now is
So-
if I adopt
so what do you
the
think, Matt?
Sixers, I will have half of the Philadelphia sports franchises. If I adopt the Pelicans, to Colby's point, I will have all of the New Orleans franchises, all 2 of them, which is pretty neat. Going in today, I was actually pretty high on the Clippers because we were talking last time about how they're a lot like my favorite baseball team, the Mets, because they're like the little kid brother to the Lakers. It's like in that analogy, the Lakers would be the Yankees because they win all the time and they're like perennial champions. The Clippers, I think, have they won nothing. Have they ever won a championship? Never even been to a championship. So there's something. It's like
They've never even
success for
been
them
to a
was right on the
championship.
horizon, which is, as a Mets fan, that's how you live your entire life. Like 30 years of existence, the Mets have been on the cusp of greatness, and I think the Clippers would fit that. I would grow into the role of a Clippers fan very quickly, I think. The Bulls, I'm good. I like the nostalgia. If you asked me when I was a kid, my favorite team was 100% the Bulls because of Michael Jordan. I never watched a single game, but I played NBA Jam and I played NBA 95. I didn't have any merch. I had no.
Did
That's
you have
not
the
true.
starter jacket?
I think I had a Bulls. I had like a Bulls pillow at one point, like a pillowcase, and I think that's like the extent of my Bulls merch. It was one of those things where I told a relative, like an uncle or something, that I was a Bulls fan, so he got me a Bulls pillowcase or something.
Yeah.
I
Think of these
don't know.
before you
I'm
go
not
First of all,
100%
that's a
sure
weird
if it was a
gift.
pillowcase. Maybe it was like a bed cover.
And then
I don't
here's
know.
one pillowcase.
Something that had to do with like maybe pajama shirt, something Bulls, but I didn't
It
have
sounds
much
like you
merch.
associate the Bulls with going to sleep very strongly.
Yeah, actually, that is kind of true. Maybe there's something cozy about all the losing they do, which it seems to be the case of now. From a city standpoint, I have absolutely no connection to Chicago. I've never been there. I would like to go someday. Has anybody ever been to Chicago?
Yes.
I've been to Chicago.
I've heard good things. I've heard it's a good food city, so I would like to check it
Yes.
out. But I've never
Wonderful city.
been there.
That might have to be our
right
next,
now. I'm very
group,
partial to
group
Minneapolis.
gathering. Might have to be in
I
the
would
Windy
like
City.
to venture out. Maybe we could maybe do both, like Houston,
We're
New
not
Orleans,
that far
but
away.
yeah,
Yeah.
up north. I have no attachment to LA as a city. I've never been there. I know it's one of Sean's favorite cities in the world. He loves it. He had a great time in LA. He drove around and felt like a movie star. And
I went there once. It was pretty cool.
Nice.
I rode the bike up and
Famous.
down the Venice Venice
did
beach.
you do the Hollywood Star
I was
walk?
a real tourist.
Ooh, okay, yeah, that's. Did you
I
go to
didn't. I
K-Town?
went nowhere near Hollywood. I was smart enough to do that. I was smart enough to avoid it. I went to the observatory,
Okay.
which is a pretty famous spot.
I've heard
I touched a
K-Town
piece
is the
of
place
the
to
moon,
go
a
if you're
piece of
visiting
a
LA
moon
to
rock
get
you
all
can
that
actually
yummy
touch.
Korean food, Korean barbecue.
Mm.
That's true.
Yeah,
Colby
you know
and Dan,
me,
have you
Mr.
ever been
Korean
to Los
food.
Angeles?
No.
No. So
Well, maybe we can do a swing. Chicago,
obviously we've got the
Minneapolis,
New
Los
Orleans
Angeles.
connection. We've all been to New Orleans. We had a great time there.
Right?
Wild and crazy time.
Now,
And that was fun.
right. So the three we're picking are between the Bulls, the Clippers, and the Pelicans. Is that? Oh, the 76ers. Yeah.
No, I thought the 76ers was in there. Matt, I'm just going to be straight with
No,
you.
no,
Matt. Now
I-
we've gone
I-
for four
like I
and a
said,
half
I'm-
hours talking about this.
I'm
Would
letting you
please
guys
just
pick
a
for
team?
me. This
I
is
feel like
think
Colby
the
and
decision
I-
can't be in my hands.
I feel like we could get to
Oh,
a
that's what
a conclusion here pretty quickly. Okay.
Well, all right. Can I just I will put in my 2 cents and then I'm going to leave it in your 2 hands, okay? If there's one team I don't think Matt should be a fan of, it's the Philadelphia 76ers. First of all, I'm not going through this 4+ hour exercise to have him pick his home team. That's bullshit. And I will not stand for that. And the other thing is that, and Matt and I had this debate, I think we both agree Boston may be the most insufferable sports city, but Philadelphia is definitely up there. Definitely up there. And so I think the less
Although it would
Philadelphia
be the
Matt's love,
geographically
better. He doesn't
closest
even
one
live
to
in
him.
Pennsylvania. So
Of all the teams on the list. Of all the teams on the list, it is. Yeah. I think the Nets are. It would be close.
How much
I'm
farther away
like
are the
right
Nets?
smack in the middle of Jersey
And the
now,
Knicks.
so but see, the Nets play in Brooklyn, which is further
By like
That's a tough
20
one.
miles.
right.
Yeah. Google Maps
I
time.
think
We're not good at
given-
maps.
Given all the information that we've heard here tonight, like
So
my
go ahead,
vote
guys.
is
What do you
still
think?
for the Pelicans?
Yeah, I think the Pelicans there's a lot going for the Pelicans. They have the cool logo. We've all been to New Orleans. Matt has existing affinity for New Orleans.
I got the Saints.
They've got great fans. They play at the Smoothie King Center, which is kind of
Sure.
cool. Their mascot is Pierre the Pelican. And they've got a lot of great young players, including Zion Williamson, J.J. Redick, Eric Bledsoe, Lonzo Ball,
Lonzo Ball.
Brandon
With a name
Ingram.
like that. There you go.
And
His
a brand
name's
new head
Lonzo
coach,
Ball?
Stan Van
Is that what
Gundy.
you said? Oh, Lonzo Ball. That's
Lonzo
still a very
Ball.
good basketball name, and probably better than Lots of Ball.
Well, he's one of. Are you
Lots of
familiar
Ball.
with the Ball family? They have 3 kids in the. He has a brother LiAngelo and a brother LaMelo. LaMelo plays for the Charlotte Hornets, and LiAngelo
Oh.
plays for.
I think
Also, all 3 of
is
them
this
play in
the
the NBA.
one with the
Pistons.
dad is very like vocal, right? Yeah. Yes.
Who's like an absolute lunatic and like tried to start a shoe
Yes,
brand
yeah.
around his sons and stuff, and like he challenged Michael Jordan to like a 1-on-1 game to prove he was better.
Didn't he
than
do
Michael
something
Jordan.
with Korea? Like he wanted to negotiate with the president of North Korea. There's some kind of story about that.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, he wanted a team to sign all 3 of his sons, and yeah, just the most lunatic like
That's
sports
cool.
dad you've ever heard of. Except that his 3
So
kids
one
are
one
like,
kid plays for the Pelicans.
And speaking of the Pelicans,
Lonzo.
they've only
Lonzo.
retired one number, and that one number was Pistol Pete from Parks and Rec, who actually Pistol Pete.
Pistol Pete.
Not that I don't know if it's
I love
of
that
any
name.
of any relation, but
Peter Maravich.
I used to call one of my coworkers Pistol Pete. His name was Alex, but I called him Pistol Pete sometimes. This is a name that I gave him. Pistol Pete, what's up?
And you don't work
Like,
there
my name's
anymore?
Alex. Oh, I miss them. I miss you, Pistol Pete.
AKA Alex. All right. Well, I think it sounds
It
like
sure
that
does.
we've picked
And
you
you know
a new
what?
team.
I'm very happy with it. I am officially a New Orleans Pelicans fan. And I am feeling good about it. I'm going to order the merch right now. Because I can't let it go, I'm trying to see what is geographically the closest team to me. I think it's looking like it's the Nets. I don't know where the Sixers play. I don't know what the name of their stadium, their arena is. Wells Fargo Center.
Yes.
And that one is okay. Let's see. Oh wow, yeah. No, it's the Nets by a long shot. The Nets are a 53-minute drive. The Sixers are a 1 hour and 16-minute drive. So that's not that long of a shot, but it's pretty close. Nets are a lot closer than I thought they were. It only takes 53 minutes to drive into Brooklyn if you want to do that. But yeah, let me check it out. Let me check it out.
Look at this hat.
Wow. Oh, that's like
That's awesome.
Wow. You know what that reminds me of? That reminds me of the it was like Microsoft Paint, but for kids. I forgot the name of the program where you made those cool designs by erasing stuff. I feel like there was a Kid Pix. Do you remember Kid Pix? Yeah. Reminds me of that.
Yes.
That hat is really cool. Go up to up there again. The one in the yeah, that is a badass hat. It's got the fleur-de-lis in front.
Yeah, I got to give it was really disappointing to shop at the NFL shop for Chargers gear because they didn't
said, "Are
really
you
have
sure?"
very much. I'm jealous.
Wouldn't you rather have?
Yes, before I exited the cart.
Yeah.
Maybe we suggest
you don't want
any other
Packers gear. All right.
This is awesome. Well, congratulations, Matt. And thank you, Dan, for your immense help. We couldn't have done it without you. Thank God our national nightmare is now over.
Shop time. Well, you know what?
Yup.
I was going to say, Sean, we did this with Sean with football, me with basketball. Anybody else need any other franchises?
Do you have a soccer team?
Not yet. But I also don't think we could name most of them.
I bet I can name a couple. The Chicago Fire.
Now,
I know they exist because that just sounds like just a wild.
Well, that's the problem. Is a third of the league is like the old fun names, like the New England Revolution, and then 2/3 of the league are the boring
Yeah,
new
the
names, like
New
the
York
Atlanta Football
FC.
Club.
The New York City NYCFC.
Yeah, it's awful.
They're trying to be
European. Ugh.
I like the fun names. I like give me the Metro. What are they? The Metro area Red Bulls or whatever. The New York, New Jersey Red Bulls.
The New York, New Jersey Red Bulls, which I don't think they're.
They were the Metro Stars before that.
That was bad.
The New York, New Jersey Metro Stars.
Now, I would like to have one other quick discussion before we pivot back to normal things, which is especially for Colby and Dan as New Englanders. Matt and I had a discussion on the show the other day trying to figure out and rank the Boston sports teams in terms of how annoying they are, or like how much they suck. Like from just a you know what I mean? The grossest,
Like,
I guess. Boston sports teams in order.
I think that was our metric was most
maybe?
obnoxious. Those Boston area sports teams with the most obnoxious
all
fans.
out there.
It's all the same people.
Yeah, the Celtics, the Patriots, the Red Sox, and the Bruins. I won't include the Revolution.
I've been to like one Celtics game in my entire life. I don't think I've ever been to a Bruins game. So I don't know about that. I think again, it's all the same people that go to all of these things. I feel like as a team, I would imagine,
probably true.
It's fair.
Knowing how like I feel about like the Yankees, for example, I would imagine like the Patriots are pretty insufferable for people who aren't into the Patriots. Right.
Yeah, I think Matt and I agreed that Patriots is probably number one, and then we had a bit of a disagreement where Matt thought Bruins fans were worse, and I thought Red Sox fans were worse.
Yeah,
but I've never really been to a Bruins game, so I don't know what it's like.
I guess in my mind, and this could be as a complete full stereotype, but in my mind, the average Red Sox fan is like an old, crusty fisherman who is like, I've been a fan of the Red Sox for 30 years, 84 years with the Sox. And he grew up his whole life suffering, like me, not ever knowing his team would ever win a championship. But the average Bruins fan, to me, is like a drunk college student who is like, yeah, go Bruins, and like always starting fights and stuff, and he's a rapscallion. He's like a real hoodlum.
I believe that,
and
the Red Sox fan base is skews older than the Bruins fan base does.
I think that's probably true of all baseball compared to, well, I don't know, hockey too. A lot of mixed.
Did you know, going back to our NBA discussion real quick, that the Clippers are the least winning team in history?
Wow. Dodged a real bullet there.
They've won.
Yeah, they've been truly
only 39% of their games ever. They've never appeared in the finals. They've never won a championship.
That's pretty embarrassing.
And then they had that super racist.
Was that him? Was that that guy? Yeah, that was bad.
Donald Sterling.
That was stuff he said was real bad.
Yeah.
Oh,
and now
I thought Steve Ballmer owned the Lakers, but I didn't realize he owned the Clippers.
The the Lakers are still owned by the Buss family, who's owned them for a couple generations. Yeah, no, was it $2 billion he spent, and he's building them a new arena.
So,
Sean, can I share my screen for a moment? I don't know how to do that.
Guys, you have just been enormously helpful.
You got a schmancy. This is very schmancy. How do I?
No, that's okay.
How do I do that? Oh, I got it.
It's just like Zoom. You just got to hit the button with the monitor. Yeah.
Okay, I want to just show you guys this. Why?
Fantastic for an audio program.
Why?
Yeah. What do you got?
What is with the Mickey Mouse tie-ins with the Pelicans? What is the? But what is the
You've
story
got to
here?
buy
Why?
that.
Why do they have? Why is Donald, Goofy, and Mickey? Why are they
Disney's
Pelicans
NBA.
fans? I can see that for the Orlando Magic. That makes total sense. But why?
And actually, Disney is a big sponsor of the Magic team,
Yeah, what
so
are they
that is
doing?
odd.
What's the? This is cool. Yeah,
I
I'm
think
looking
that's
at all
awesome.
the merch, but
I think that's great. God, there's just so much merch. Like, I just would love the option
basketball
to buy
merch
bad
is cool.
merchandise.
They've got like a lot of neat styles. Like very
It's a
more
stylish
a
league.
lot more stylish than baseball. I'll say that. Baseball is very big on tradition.
Oh, well, yeah.
and keeping things like the same as they were in 1930. So that's cool. I am excited to be a New Orleans Pelicans fan.
Well, congratulations. Guys, is there anything else we want to touch on as we close out the year? Anything else we'd like to say? Okay, we're glad to see anything we want to. I was just about to look to see how many episodes of this show did we do in calendar year 2020, which it appears, based on my records, to be. We went from 264 to 297, so 33 episodes we accomplished this year. Not too bad. What a year it was! How about we end with some? What are we looking forward to in 2021? Anything at all?
I think it will
Do we think it'll suck
less,
more?
but
Yeah.
I don't think it's going to be amazing. But
Yeah.
it will suck less, and that's good.
I would
What am
like
I
to
looking
see
forward to?
Any or all of you in real life. That would be dope.
Yeah, I don't know if we'll be in Minneapolis, but
Yes.
Same.
what am I looking forward to?
Not touring the Mall of America.
The first place you go
The
after
Mall of
quarantine ends.
America.
I just got vaccinated. Where are you gonna go?
I
I'm
have
going to
heard
Mall of
good
America.
things.
We could go. We could go to the Meadowlands, the American
the
Dream
indoor
Mall there in
skiing
New
there.
Jersey, the
Yeah.
giant new mall with
That's
the
not too
amusement
far.
park and the water park and no
Not too
stores.
far from you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah. Excited.
Okay,
Don't
I
worry.
think
There
the
are
thing I'm
malls still
add
out
that to
probably
that
there.
most
list.
looking forward to next year is even more M1 Max. I am like, I'm
Yeah.
I'm
I want
ready.
to see. Right. I want
Yes.
to see what the
Ready.
the more interesting ones look like. It's gonna be cool.
Oh, and fucking AirTags. Just release it, Apple.
I'm excited for.
What?
Yeah, I'm excited. I just in the Apple universe, I want the 2-in-1 touchscreen Mac device. I don't think it's going to be this year. I think we got another year to go. But once Catalyst and all this M1 and all the work they're doing to merge the platforms, I want the touchscreen friendly Mac, real keyboard, pull apart or flip over 2-in-1 touchscreen. That'll be a computer I'm very excited about when that comes.
I've heard really, really good things on the tech front about the new Macs. Like the new Macs that are coming out. One
Yes.
article described it as alien technology, which is a pretty.
Oh.
That's a.
There's something
I
creepy
would
going.
say that is
in
a glowing
spaceship.
endorsement
So-
of Apple products. They said it's like holding alien technology in my hand. The longest battery life that they have ever had. Said like basically it can last for days without being plugged in, which is wild.
It's going to be an exciting year for computing. Matt, is there any technology you're looking forward to in 2021? Anything you're looking at maybe purchasing
this
or adding
laptop
to your
was
life?
this was much needed. I don't know if you guys knew about my story about my Saga. My old laptop was an HP, and it was good. It was a touch screen, and it was fairly new. I think I only had it for about a year. And one day I was on it in bed, and I put it down next to my bed. Got up the next morning for work, stepped on it, cracked the screen, right in half, and basically it all just fell apart. Like the screws started coming out of it, and it was bad. That like same week we went away on quarantine and never came back. So I felt like I just had to buy a computer really quick to do virtual work, and I bought a really shitty crap like $400, basically a Chromebook made by Asus. It was awful. And I've had that computer since basically February. I got this Inspiron the other day. Been very happy with it. That was my main tech purchase. I'm probably due for a new phone at some point. I haven't replaced my phone in a really long time. I've had this phone since 2013, so I've been very happy with it. But
well, hey, when you're ready, Matt, come back. We'll give you a hand. I'm thinking, guys, we got to get him a Galaxy Fold. I think we got to get him a foldable phone. Matt, what do you think of a foldable
like
phone?
A flip phone? Is that what we're talking about here?
No, better. So it's like a phone, and you open it up, and it's a slightly bigger.
I've never heard of this foldable phone.
Yeah, look up the Galaxy. I believe it's the Samsung Galaxy Fold. I believe it's the official.
Galaxy Fold.
Yeah, that's what we should get you.
It's the Galaxy Z Fold. Why? Whoa. Okay. So it folds, and then when you unfold it, it's like a mini tablet.
Sort of, yeah.
So the thing is, I don't know if you know this, but I'm a very strict Apple user when it comes to phones. I've never had a phone that was not Apple, and I don't trust any phone that's not Apple.
You should have said so. We'll get you 2 iPhones, and you can duct tape them together and make your own foldable phone.
Sounds good.
I remember there was a Kickstarter project a while back where someone like had like a metal thing you could put 2 iPhones into and fold it, and it would be like a little foldable phone.
Fancy cigarette case, but with the phone on each side.
Yes, and you put a phone on each side.
Wow!
And it was like super thick. It like made no sense. Oh boy, I miss stupid people. Well, don't worry. I'm sure we're gonna have plenty of them next year. Guys, what an absolute treat this has been. First of all, Matt, thank you for joining us.
I want to pitch before you say your goodbyes to Dan and Colby.
Okay.
You know how in Up for Debate, we often, our listeners at home, they know that we do a lot of bracket challenges. Well, I challenge you to do a bracket challenge of all the coding languages you know. Which coding language would win? Which coding language would win the bracket challenge?
Oh no!
But here's the thing: Dan and Colby, being in the industry, you guys make your own bracket, and Sean and I make our own bracket based on our extremely limited knowledge of these programming languages. I think this could be a hoot.
We do them both simultaneously, so don't panic. We'll pick based on the actual languages, and Matt and I will pick which is the funniest name.
Basically, just based on like how easy it is to use them, or like I don't know, however you want to rank it. You do you, but we're pretty much going to narrow it down to based on the name and maybe the fun story behind it.
I'm interested in listening to the show that Dan and I would do for that, and I'm super interested in listening to the show that you and Sean do.
Well, I would be honest, if you and Dan did that, I would not show up. Let me be very clear. That is a Colby and Dan exclusive.
Of the list of what we should put in the bracket.
Oh my god, yeah.
This could go places. Yeah, the thing is that I only can name maybe 3. So you have to.
Ruby.
Groovy.
I've heard of Ruby.
Groovy.
Oh, I've not heard of Groovy. I don't know. Given our track record on bracket challenges, Sean, this could be. You know, we have pretty much swung and missed every time we've done a bracket challenge. No matter how easy it is,
I feel like the flaw with some other bracket challenges is that you have talked previously and you seem to know a lot about the thing you're putting through the bracket.
Yeah, we were too big of experts on soup. That definitely was. We had too much experience with soup.
Oh man.
Boy, we should be ashamed. Matt, keep bringing your great ideas. Look forward to that in 2021. And be sure to go over and check out Up for Debate if you want to hear how we got to the New Orleans Pelicans. We've got 4 hours of content for you. And stay tuned because we got a lot of great stuff coming up next year on that show. Of course, our Super Bowl prop bets will be coming up before you know it. Our big annual tradition, March Madness. Rumor has it may be coming back. And I think we've already plotted out our next live commentary. Which is Colby's excited, prepare to be disappointed. We're going to do a live commentary to some of the most famous Super Bowl halftime shows. So we're going to watch them and comment on them in real time. It's going to be a lot of fun. You'll be surprised at what made a Super Bowl halftime show in the past. So look forward to that next year. And of course, our little program here, Don't Panic at don'tpanic.io is our website. You can go there and check out all the good stuff that goes along with it, including our picks. And stick with us. We're at 297, guys. We're a couple weeks away from the big 300. Unbelievable.
We get there next.
I know, man. This was a tough year. It sucks being an adult with responsibilities, but who knows? Maybe that'll change and life will be better next year. We can only hope. Probably not. But anyway, we're going to end it here. Wishing everybody a very happy New Year. That's one other thing I should tease is this coming week on Up for Debate, Matt and I, we're taping on Thursday, New Year's Eve. We're going to do our own history of New Year's. We're going to talk about New Year's Eve celebrations. We're going to talk about what it means to be. I've always wondered, where does baby New Year come from? We're going to tell you. You're going to want to stick around and hear that over at Up for Debate or wherever you get podcasts. But guys, we got to wrap it up here. So on behalf of Colby and Dan, and also Matt, I'm Sean. Thanks for being here. Thanks for being here all year. We'll see you in 2021 on another Don't Panic.